Producing and mixing your own music can be a lot of fun and at times really rewarding. But today I want to give you a few reasons why you should consider hiring a professional mix engineer for your next recording. Experience in the music industry is one of those things that's accumulated through years and years of trial and error, training, finding out things that work, things that don't work, making a hell of a lot of mistakes. And then you arrive at a point where you have experience. One of the benefits of hiring a mix engineer is being able to tap into the experience of someone that has specialized perhaps in that craft of mixing. And you can then access all of those years of experience and trial and error and I guess bypass it really and fast track whatever it is that you're working on at the time. And that's not to say that gaining your own experience in mixing is something that you shouldn't do. But I think if you're really looking at progressing your music and spending more time on songwriting and production and perhaps outsourcing some of those tasks that you may not want to do, then hiring an experienced mix engineer can save you a lot of time and a lot of hassle. In addition to the experience that the mix engineer would have, it's likely that they've accumulated a studio full of top-notch equipment that you can also have access to when you hire them. Now, coupled with the experience aspect, accumulating gear and professional equipment also takes a lot of years of trial and error and experience and finding out which pieces of equipment work with which particular genre or sound that an artist might be going for. So not only the actual equipment itself, but the experience in the knowledge of how to use the equipment properly and get the best out of it. Objectivity is probably one of the most important aspects of putting together a really cohesive mix that can compete at a commercial level. When you're recording and producing and mixing your own music, you can become very myopic in your approach and you can get really narrow and lost in that whole process and really lose perspective and how to be objective on your own music. And this is where hiring professionals that specialize in an individual aspect of music production is worth its weight in gold. A professional mix engineer will be able to listen to your music with fresh ears and a completely unbiased perspective on your music. You may find they'll be able to highlight really odd deficiencies in the recording, and they might even be able to come back to you with some advice on even song structure as well, because that can be an experienced mix engineer will have listened to many thousands of songs over the years, and you'd be surprised that a really good mix engineer will often have a really good understanding of what is a really good song structure and something that's going to work well commercially. And you may also find in your future songwriting that it can be a new inspiration for you. The mix engineer may have opened up a completely different perspective for you and then allowed you to channel this new approach, and all of a sudden you've got this completely fresh approach for your next song. I always like to use the analogy of cooking and mixing. A really great mix engineer is kind of like a great chef. They have a particular taste that they've developed over the years, and many mix engineers have developed that taste through various different types of, as I said before, trial and error, and they've developed a bit of what you could call a signature sound. And that particular mix engineer that maybe you've done your research and found that that's the person that you want because they have that particular taste or a particular sound that you're looking for. So certainly when you're out there doing your research on which type of mix engineer is right for you, you may find that their taste or the genres that maybe they've worked in becomes a really strong point of interest for you and really grabs your attention when you perhaps listen to some of the mixes that they've done in the past and their portfolio. So in summary, having really good taste for mixing a particular genre is a really important part of why you should hire a mix engineer. And in addition to that, I should also say that you may not necessarily have to appoint someone that specializes in hip hop to mix your hip hop record. You may find someone that has mixed heavy metal in the past, has a particular sound to their mixes that you really like, and you want that sound to be part of your hip hop mixes. So certainly don't feel limited to only approaching a mix engineer that works within that genre. You'd be really surprised at how a really experienced mixing engineer can translate their skills across different genres. Outsourcing. Now this gets back to what I was saying earlier on with saving time. Now this is one of the most important aspects of hiring an audio professional, because you can save yourself a lot of time and pain. Budgets permitting, you'd be surprised at how much additional time that you can create for yourself by outsourcing tasks like mixing, because you'll find that you'll no longer have to focus on how to balance a track, or which EQ or compressor to use, or what type of reverb is right for this particular part of the mix. You won't have to invest any of that mental energy into the mixing task. You can then focus a lot more on the songwriting and the recording and production aspect. If of course that is what you're passionate about, then you will have a lot more time to focus on that. I've spoken in a little more detail about outsourcing in one of my previous videos, so certainly feel free to check that one out if you're looking for a bit more detailed info on how you can outsource different aspects of your music production. Well, I hope that's given you a good insight into some of the benefits of hiring a mix engineer. If you're looking for more detailed information on any aspect of music production, check out my website mnproductions.com.au, and look forward to chatting to you again soon.